Hi, I'm on a bit of a film roll at the moment, and I'm going to talk today about Life of Brian, which of course was a really popular film back in the I think early 1980s. I absolutely loved it, and some great scenes in it, and one of which is where Brian is writing or painting some graffiti onto the walls of the Roman city, and his graffiti, of course, is done incorrectly because his Latin isn't very good, and so he gets caught by the local Roman centurion and his posse, and he gets berated for his rather poor Roman. So he was saying he wanted to say Romans go home, and his Latin actually translated as Romans they go the house. So it really wasn't very good Latin. And the funny thing was the way that the centurion, who was John Cleese, was telling Brian how to do the Latin properly, and basically making Brian fearful for his life. Very fear-based type of approach to managing the learning. Not unlike the way that some practitioners treat their patients. The old school type of medical consultant who perhaps would rather haughtily address the patient was probably being like that a little bit out of fear. And it's tempting for all clinicians to use fear, often subconsciously, in their consultations. Often it's because they don't know the answer to the patient's problem, so they want to try and give the impression they do have all the answers, so they use fear, which is never a great idea. So the funny thing about John Cleese's role here was that he gave Brian the task of writing out the correct answer lots of times on the Roman wall. So Brian painted numerous times Romans go home at the express instructions of the centurion. So it was all rather funny. It was done in Tunisia, I think. Anyway, talking about Latin, I was noticing that the Royal College of General Practitioners has a Latin motto, which is cum scientia caritas, kindness with competence. And it made me think that that's really how all practitioners should be working, using kindness to help our patients as well as competence. Of course, we need to be competent, but it's been demonstrated that practitioners who demonstrate empathy tend to have better outcomes with patients with back pain than clinicians who don't treat patients with empathy. So it's really worth thinking about empathy. And so how do we do that? Well, we can be a kind person, but literally, what do you do? Well, the trick really is to break down the consultation into three parts in order to be empathic. And the first part is where the patient gets to do all the talking. We let the patient chat. So we might ask them, how you doing? How's the family? How have you been? Nice weather, and let them talk. And then we need to be quiet and not say anything whilst they're talking. And then we can go into the clinician's part, which is where we perhaps might ask some more focused clinical questions about their condition that help us to understand what's going on, and that would lead us into examining the patient. And then the third part is where we have an agreed chat, or a chat where we agree what's going to happen next. And this would be the last part of the interaction. We might get the patients to do some exercises, get them to show us the exercises, and then we might ask them, so how often will you do your exercises, and see what they say. So we come to a bit of an agreement about what's happening next. So it's three parts: the patient's part, the practitioner's part, and the shared part. And we need all three parts of the interaction to be there for the interaction to be a functional interaction. And I distinctly remember a time where I saw a GP and she was really trying to keep to time, and she just completely ignored the first part, didn't do any soft intro stuff. I mean, she knew me, so I almost would say we were friends, but she didn't say, how's the practice, how's work, all this sort of stuff. Just didn't do that. Just, what can I do for you today? And straight into clinical questioning. So she just ditched the first part, which of course made me feel that she really didn't care about me as a person. So the consultation really didn't get off to a very good start, and made me fairly unhappy about about it at the end of the day. If you want to read more about this, then I really strongly recommend this book by Roger Neighbour, written quite a few years ago, The Inner Consultation. It's an absolute classic, and I think that all practitioners that do consultations with patients, whether you're a GP like Roger Neighbour or a manual therapist, chiropractor, osteopath, or physiotherapist, really any practitioner, I think we can all benefit from Roger Neighbour's good work. He's done a more recent book, a shorter book, Consulting in a Nutshell, but I don't know, it adds loads of value, but it's a bit of a revisit of these same old things. So cum scientia caritas, kindness with competence. So as well as being a motto for general practitioners, I think it could be a motto for any of us practitioners out there. We need to be competent, we need to pass our exams, all this sort of stuff, we need to know things, but we need to be kind, and to do that we need to do a functional consultation. So I did pass my Latin O-level, by the way. The Latin teacher predicted that I wouldn't, but I did, and I did get my grade. Not a great grade, mind you. So Romani ite domum, Romans, go home. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.